Oh, do you remember what your handle was on Full Tilt?
Yeah.
What was your handle?
Okay.
I was Berkey11 on all the sites.
I was Kobe all ST.
My online handle was bgiddy.
Like 7. So
Word like and like 7.
yeah. So the word like and the letter 7. It actually came from a Rounders quote when they were trying to build their bankroll up to pay off their debts, and Worm asked Mike McDermott, he said, "What are we up to?" And Mike McDermott just throws him a wad of cash, and he looked at it and he goes, "That's like 7. That's like 7. With that putt you just dumped on that V-neck sweater, we would have had 10."
Okay, so I used to be really into studying, and at the time there was a guy called Daisy XOXO, and he made his name Daisy XOXO because they thought he would be a girl and then he would suck, right? So then I made my handle Daisy OXOX with a puppy, and I remember that very well. But I actually did suck, so it was different. It worked negative for me.
Yeah, the first couple years in Vegas, I was playing much more online than I was playing live. There was just so many people playing online. There was a lot of money to be made.
Obviously, playing online was just more comfortable. You can also put a lot more volume in.
Every Sunday you could win. There was 4 tournaments where you could win $100K. So it was just like you had to get in it.
Brent and I struck up a deal where he started putting me in online tournaments. I took it very seriously. I started to develop a strategy. I won big.
I was playing on FullTilt.com, and they had this thing that started at midnight called Midnight Madness, and it was a $10 tournament. And I was up until like 9 a.m. because there was endless amount of people just like me hoping to bank it. I didn't win it, but I ran really deep and I won like $9,000. I was like on top of the world. I had $9,000. I didn't have it long though.
Yeah, so what did you do?
So the next day, I just opened up these heads up $500 hyper turbos, which looking back at it, I had no business playing. I wouldn't even play those today. It's just insanity. But I did it then, and I just I went from 9,000 to effectively 0. So I wasn't given this leap of oh, here's $9,000 to be a professional poker player. It was here's $9,000, it's now gone, so don't be an idiot anymore. And then from there, I kind of said, okay, well, what is bankroll management? What is this thing they call managing money? I didn't have these roller coaster jumps anymore. It was just okay, I'm just gonna get good and slowly climb through the ranks and be afforded opportunities when I can. I guess it was so soft at the time when I won that $9,000 that if I really kept going after it, I would have risen really fast, kind of like Jordan.
I'm having a conversation on AIM with Mike Telker, who used to back me at this point. And Full Tilt had just started running these, the multi-entry tournaments. And it was where you could enter the same tournament and be playing on 2 different tables at the same time.
They started to do these re-entries. They started to do these tournaments on Sundays where you'd go from buying in for a normal day of 1,000, maybe you'd be in for $3,000.
And I'm talking to Mike, and I'm just man, this shit is really weird, because I don't think this idea is going to last, because I think it's bad for the community as a whole, but the guarantees were so big that people didn't care.
You start to look back at it, I wonder if obviously Full Tilt knew they were going to be doing that, so they started sucking a lot of the money out of the community.
I knew online poker in America was a gray area. I never, ever, ever thought that this was actually going to happen.
Do you know what Black Friday is?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Do you remember where you were on Black Friday?
Or was I on Black Friday? That's the day after Thanksgiving, right?
I have no idea what Black Friday is.
Great.
Black Friday is only a Black Friday for the TV.
I don't remember where I was on Black Friday. I mean, because online poker didn't really, for me, it didn't mean as much as it did for online poker players.
I was in a new apartment I had just gotten with one of my friends.
I was at home.
I had just gotten off a plane in New Orleans for one of my college catchers' bachelor party.
I was at Coachella on Black Friday.
It was the first day of Coachella, and
We were all excited about this weekend. We're gonna see all these bands we wanted to see, and then Friday morning, you know, we're like, something's wrong.
So I remember just being in a dark room, opening my laptop, and
I'm playing 6 tables on my laptop and just hanging out on the couch.
I had just won a tournament the night before. I was pretty excited, so I was trying to cash out the next day.
And then a warning pops up or whatever it is, and it says, you are playing for real money in a jurisdiction that does not allow real money gaming. And all my tournaments got shut down, and the client shuts down. And I'm on Skype or AIM or whatever it was in my group chat, and everyone's just like, what the hell is going on?
I woke up to like all these text messages from people on the East Coast, and they're just like, what's going on, man?
We're getting all these texts, we're getting these, you know, tweets.
And then I see this release by the FBI on Poker News or whatever it is, and I just like kind of set in.
Oh my God, they did it, they shut it down.
I was like very into like, oh, what does this mean, etc. So I like Googled and like it was bad.
There were all these, you know, different things that were happening. There was rumors that it was gonna happen, and then when it finally did, it was just like this realization that poker's gonna be very different moving forward.
I was the one guy in the poker industry that was thrilled online was done. I was weaning myself off online tournaments already. Like I had money now. I knew all the money was live, and I was just of this impression that if online's no longer available, all of those millions and millions of dollars, because I assumed we'd get paid back. Like we already had this happen once in 2006. The money got returned in 6 weeks. I was just like, okay, this is no big deal. Like that's going to be hundreds of millions of dollars that's going to influx into the live arena. I was wrong.
We all thought it was going to be a quick thing where obviously Full Tilt's going to pay them to get back in business, but that was the exact opposite.
A lot of people were like, well, you know, it'll come back, maybe it won't. And then like time went on probably like a month and it wasn't coming back.
Black Friday wasn't good for anyone. It wasn't good for the live players. It wasn't good for the online players. It totally affected the community.
Full Tilt being a quote unquote Ponzi scheme at the time, damn near crumbled the poker economy.
It was the worst day in the poker community of all time, and there's nothing that's even close. And it's not like a bunch of people died or anything like that, but it's like a bunch of people's lives were uprooted and their trajectories were changed, and most of them for the worse.
we were fortunate enough that we lived out in Vegas and we did have live experience from when we started. So I think all of us were able to overcome that eventually and just transition out of that aspect of poker.
Yeah, if we wouldn't have lived in Vegas, I don't know what we would have done on the East Coast.
Like there was a small part of me that was like, not excited, but like, oh wow, now I can just like go play live all the time because I missed that.
All these people that were trying to get better, similar to me, you know, buying these books or whatever, are now not gonna get better anymore. And I thought, well, that's good because I don't have the means to like get better through playing. Like, so I just went into like a deep dive on the other end. I'm just gonna outstudy these guys while they can't play.
Honestly, that's what made Christian excel at the game a lot faster than most people, because he always thought outside the box, inside the box, all over, around the box. Like he always thought about everything.
While they're in the middle of like trying to like play and other facets move or whatever, I'm just gonna outwork them the other way. And when poker comes back, I'm gonna be ready to play them.
It worried me for Jordan's future and what he was going to do now, because that was his thing. I mean, that's what he dropped everything for, was to play poker and play online, and he was really good at it. I mean, he's #1 in the world.
I know it was a large setback for him because he had a lot of money online and get locked up, and that was like his daily job. So for them to say he couldn't come to work day in and day out, I can only imagine.
I don't honestly remember how he handled it. I think I recall him, doing a lot of talking with people online about what they were going to do, where they were going to move.
Black Friday was on April 15th. By April 17th, I knew I was moving to Canada. And granted, I didn't move until September or so, but I knew I was playing, like I had been through way too much to not play poker for the rest of my life. And I had no idea how I was gonna make it a lot of the time. I just knew I was gonna make it, but I knew I couldn't make it in America anymore. So Canada, Mexico, those were the two options. I started looking for places immediately.